We shall now discuss on chapter 9. The title of chapter 9 is inner product spaces and Hilbert spaces. Already we have learned many properties on nonlinear spaces and Banach spaces. These nonlinear spaces and Banach spaces had some linear properties as well as metric properties. In a nonlinear space, the norm defines the length of the vector. Besides this, there is another geometric concept which is the main thing is the linear spaces, that is the angle between the two vectors. Here we shall learn on some properties on inner product spaces and Hilbert spaces. Basically, Hilbert spaces was done by Hilbert. He is a German mathematician, and then axiomatic theory was developed in inner product spaces by J. von Neumann. Now, we shall go on module 1 of chapter 9. We shall now discuss on module 1. The title of module 1 is inner product spaces. Let us take a definition. Let X be a linear space over a field of complex numbers. If for every pair x, y belonging to Cartesian product of x, that is, for every pair x, y belongs to x cross x, there corresponds a scalar denoted by x, y within the bracket called inner product of x and y of x, such that the following properties holds. Number 1, IP1, that x, y within the bracket is equal to within the bracket y, x bar, where x, y belongs to x cross x and bar denotes the conjugate of the complex number. Second axiom, IP2, for all alpha belonging to C, alpha x, y within the bracket equal to alpha within the bracket x, y for all x, y belongs to x cross x. Third axiom, IP3, for all x, y, z belonging to capital X, x plus y, z within the bracket equal to within the bracket x, z plus y, z. Number 4, IP4, within the bracket x, x greater or equals to 0 and within the bracket x, x equal to 0 if and only if x equal to theta. Then x, within the bracket with dot is called an inner product space or a pre-Hilbert space. The bracket is called the inner product function and x, within the bracket within the dot is called the inner product space. Now, inner product induce a norm. Let x be an inner product space, take x belongs to capital X. Define norm of x equal to plus root over inner product x, x. Now, norm of x greater or equals to 0 as inner product x, x greater or equals to 0 by IP4, that is fourth axiom of inner product space. Also, norm of x equal to 0 if and only if x equal to 0 vector by inner product axiom 4, that is norm of x equal to 0 if and only if x equal to theta. Take alpha belongs to C, that is alpha is a complex number. So, norm of alpha x a whole square is equal to inner product alpha x, where alpha belongs to C and x belongs to capital X. This is equal to alpha into alpha bar into inner product x, x for all x belongs to capital X, which is again equals to modulus of alpha square into norm of x square, where x belongs to capital X. So, norm of alpha x is equal to modulus of alpha into norm of x, x belongs to x. Now, the second norm axiom is satisfied. To prove the triangle inequality, we first state and prove Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. Cauchy-Schwarz inequality is that modulus of inner product x, y is less or equals to norm x into norm y for all x, y belongs to capital X. The proof goes below. If y is equal to 0 vector of x, then the result follows trivially. If y is not a 0 vector, then for every scalar lambda belongs to complex number C, inner product x plus lambda y, x plus lambda y is always greater or equals to 0, which on simplification it gives inner product x, x plus inner product x, lambda y plus inner product lambda y, x plus inner product lambda y, lambda y is greater or equals to 0 by inner product axiom 3, which gives inner product x, x plus lambda bar inner product x, y plus lambda into inner product y, x plus norm of lambda y whole square, which is again greater or equals to 0, which implies norm of x square plus lambda bar inner product x comma y plus lambda into inner product x comma y bar plus mod lambda whole square into norm of y square, which is again get out equals to 0. Take lambda equal to minus inner product x comma y divided by y comma y, as y not equal to theta. So, inner product y comma y is not equal to 0. So, norm of x square minus inner product x comma y bar into inner product x comma y divided by norm of y whole square minus inner product x comma y into x comma y whole bar divided by norm of y whole square plus modulus of inner product x y whole square divided by norm of y whole to the power 4 into norm of y square is get out equals to 0. This on simplification we get norm of x whole square minus modulus of inner product x comma y whole square divided by norm of y whole square minus modulus of inner product x comma y whole square divided by norm of y whole square plus modulus of inner product x comma y whole square divided by norm of y whole square get out equals to 0. So, norm of x whole square minus modulus of inner product x comma y whole square divided by norm of y square get out equals to 0. This implies that norm of x square into norm of y square get out equals to modulus of inner product x comma y whole square. So, norm of x into norm of y get out equals to modulus of inner product x comma y. So, modulus of inner product x comma y is less or equals to norm x into norm of y. So, the Cauchy-Schwarz inequality is established. Sometimes this inequality is abbreviated as CS inequality. We see that equality sign will hold if and only if in the above derivation inner product x plus lambda y comma x plus lambda y equal to 0 implies norm of x plus lambda y whole square equal to 0. This implies that x plus lambda y equal to theta x, that is x and y are linearly dependent. We shall now prove triangle inequality for norm. Now, for all x comma y belongs to capital X, norm of x plus y whole square equal to inner product x plus y comma x plus y, which is equal to inner product x comma x plus inner product x comma y plus inner product y comma x plus inner product y comma y, which is equal to norm of x square plus norm of y square plus inner product x comma y plus inner product y comma x. So, norm of x plus y whole square is equal to modulus of norm of x square plus norm of y whole square plus inner product x comma y plus inner product y comma x, which is again less or equals to norm of x whole square plus norm of y whole square plus modulus of inner product x comma y plus inner product y comma x, which is less or equals to norm of x square plus norm of y square plus 2 into norm of x into norm of y. This comes from Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. So, norm of x square plus norm of y square plus 2 into norm of x into norm of y is equal to norm of x plus norm of y whole square. Thus, we get norm of x plus y less or equals to norm x plus norm y. So, the third norm axiom is satisfied. Hence, inner product induces a norm and consequently, every inner product space is a norm-linear space. Now, we get a remark. So, every inner product space is a metric space and the metric induced by inner product is defined as follows. For all x comma y belongs to capital X, define D from x cross x to R by dxy equal to norm of x minus y is equal to plus root over inner product of x minus y comma x minus y. This is equation number 3. Now, we get a theorem, every inner product function is a continuous function. Equivalently, if f is a function from x cross x to c defined by f x y equal to inner product x comma y for all x comma y belongs to capital X, then f is continuous. Let capital X be an inner product space, define a map f from x cross x to c by f x y equal to inner product x comma y for all x comma y belonging to capital X. Now, take sequences x n and y n in x such that x n goes to x as n tends to infinity, y n goes to y as n tends to infinity. That means, norm of x n minus x tends to 0 as n tends to infinity and norm of y n minus y tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. As x n goes to x as n tends to infinity, norm of x n goes to norm of x as n tends to infinity, because norm function is continuous. So, sequence of norm of x n are bounded, because every convergence sequence is bounded. So, there exists a constant m greater than 0 such that norm of x n less or equals to m for all n. Now, modulus of inner product x n comma y n minus inner product x comma y is equal to modulus of inner product x n comma y n minus inner product of x n comma y plus inner product x n comma y minus inner product x comma y by suitable adjustment of inner product x n comma y with plus and minus. So, which is again equals to modulus of inner product x n comma y n minus y plus inner product x n minus x comma y, which is again less or equals to modulus of x n comma y n minus y plus modulus of inner product x n minus x comma y, which is again less or equals to norm of x n into norm of y n minus y plus norm of x n minus x into norm of y by Cauchy-Schwarz inequality, which is again less or equals to m into norm of y n minus y plus norm of x n minus x into norm of y as norm of x n less or equals to m for all n, and this goes to 0 as n tends to infinity. That is, inner product x n comma y n goes to x y as n tends to infinity. That means, f of x n comma y n goes to f x y as n tends to infinity. This implies that f is continuous. Now, let us take a theorem, and this theorem is known as the parallelogram law. Let capital X be an inner product space and let x comma y belongs to capital X. Then norm of x plus y whole square plus norm of x minus y whole square equal to 2 into norm of x square plus norm of y square. Now, the proof goes below. Now, norm of x plus y whole square is equal to inner product x plus y comma x plus y, which is equal to inner product x comma x plus inner product x comma y plus inner product y comma x plus inner product y comma y, which is equal to norm of x square plus norm of y square plus inner product x comma y plus inner product y comma x. Now, let us take a calculation of norm of x minus y whole square. Now, norm of x minus y whole square is equal to inner product x minus y comma x minus y, which is equal to inner product x comma x plus inner product x comma minus y plus inner product minus comma x plus inner product minus y comma minus y, which is again equals to norm of x square plus norm of y square minus inner product x comma y minus inner product y comma x. So, adding these two results, we get norm of x plus y whole square plus norm of x minus y whole square equal to 2 into norm of x square plus norm of y square. This is the parallelogram law. Now, we get a theorem. That theorem is known as the polarization identity. Let capital X be an inner product space and let x comma y belonging to capital X. Then inner product x comma y equal to 1 by 4 into norm of x plus y whole square minus norm of x minus y whole square plus I into x plus I y whole square minus I into norm of x minus I y whole square. Now, let us take a theorem. Let capital X be an inner product space, then every Cauchy sequence is bounded. Number 2, if sequence x n and sequence y n are two Cauchy sequences in capital X, then sequence inner product x n comma y n is also a Cauchy sequence in space of all complex numbers and hence convergent in C. Now, we shall go for a proof of 1. Let sequence x n be a Cauchy sequence in X, then for epsilon equal to 1, there exists a positive integer capital N such that norm of x n minus x m less than 1 whenever n comma m is greater or equals to capital N. In particular, norm of x n minus x n less than 1, that is norm of x n minus x capital N less than 1 whenever n greater or equals to capital N. Now, norm of x n less or equals to norm of x n minus x capital N plus norm of x capital N, which is again less than 1 plus norm of x capital N for all n greater or equals to capital N. Let us take m equal to maximum of norm of x 1 comma norm of x 2 comma dot dot norm of x n minus 1 comma norm of x n plus 1. So, norm of x n less or equals to m for all n. So, x n is bounded. Now, for the proof of 2, let us take x n and y n be two Cauchy sequences in capital X. So, norm of x n minus x m tends to 0 as n comma m tends to infinity, and norm of y n minus y m tends to 0 as n comma m tends to infinity. Also by 1, norm of xn less or equals to m for all n and for some m greater than 0. Similarly, norm of yn less or equals to k for some k greater than 0 and for all n. Now, modulus of inner product xn comma yn minus inner product xm comma ym is equal to modulus of inner product xn comma yn minus inner product xn comma ym plus inner product xn comma ym minus inner product xm comma ym by mutual adjustment of plus and minus by inner product xn comma ym, which is again equals to modulus of inner product xn comma yn minus ym plus inner product xn minus xm comma ym, which is again less or equals to modulus of inner product xn comma yn minus ym plus modulus of inner product xn minus xm comma yn, which is again less or equals to norm of xn into norm of yn minus ym plus norm of xn minus xm into norm of yn by Cauchy-Schwarz inequality, which is again less or equals to m into norm of yn minus ym plus k into norm of xn minus xm, which goes to 0 as n comma m tends to infinity. This follows that sequence of inner product xn comma yn is a Cauchy sequence of scalars in C as space of all complex numbers is complete with respect to the usual metric. So, sequence inner product xn comma yn is convergent in C. A complete inner product space is called a Hilbert space, that is an inner product space capital X which is complete with respect to a metric D from x cross x to R induced by the inner product on x cross x, that is dxy is equal to inner product x minus y comma x minus y to the power half for all x comma y belongs to capital X. Up to this, in this module we have learned that every inner product gives a norm. So, every inner product space is a nonlinear space, and that is why every Hilbert space is a Banach space. Now, we shall now prove a theorem that a Banach space is a Hilbert space if and only if parallelogram law holds in it. We shall now prove a theorem that a Banach space capital X is a Hilbert space if and only if parallelogram law holds in it. We know that every Hilbert space capital X is a Banach space where parallelogram law holds in it. Conversely, suppose that capital X is a Banach space where parallelogram law holds. Without loss of generality, we can assume a function, that is inner product function, whose range is R. For all x comma y belongs to capital X, define inner product function from x cross x to R by inner product x comma y equal to 1 by 4 into norm of x plus y whole square minus norm of x minus y whole square. That is, for real inner product space we start with above equation, and sometimes we write R inner product x comma y is equal to 1 by 4 into norm of x plus y whole square minus norm of x minus y whole square for all x comma y belongs to capital X. It is easy to verify that all the norm axioms are satisfied. So, therefore, every inner product space is a nonlinear space and every nonlinear space is an inner product space. Now, we shall take some examples. The Euclidean space Cn is a Hilbert space. Let us take the solution. Let x is equal to xi 1 xi 2 dot dot xi n and y equal to eta 1 comma eta 2 dot dot eta n be two elements of Cn. We define the inner product of x and y by inner product x comma y equal to xi 1 into eta 1 bar plus xi 2 into eta 2 bar plus dot 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 plus xi n into eta n bar. Then norm of x is equal to inner product x comma x, which is again equals to modulus of xi 1 square plus modulus of xi 2 square plus dot 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 plus modulus of xi n square to the power half. It may be easily verified that all the inner product axioms are satisfied in Cn, and the Euclidean metric D is obtained by dxy equal to norm of x minus y is equal to inner product x minus y comma x minus y to the power half, which is again equals to sigma I equal to 1 to n xi I minus eta I whole square. With respect to this metric, we can at once see that Cn is complete so as to make Cn a Hilbert space. The space L2 is a Hilbert space. Let x is equal to sequence xi I and y is equal to eta I be two elements of L2. we define the inner product of x and y by inner product x comma y is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to infinity xi I into eta I bar. Convergence of the series on the right hand side follows from the fact that x belongs to L2 and modulus of xi I into eta I bar is less or equals to mod of xi I square by 2 plus eta I square by 2. Then norm of x is equal to root over inner product x comma x, which is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to infinity modulus of xi I square to the power half. It can be easily shown that all the inner product axioms IP1 to IP4 are satisfied in L2. The metric D of L2 is defined by dxy is equal to norm of x minus y is equal to inner product x minus y comma x minus y to the power half, which is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to n modulus of xi I minus eta I square to the power half. Already we have seen that with respect to this metric, we can at once see that L2 is complete, so as to make L2 a Hilbert space. But for 1 less or equals to p less than infinity, LP where p not equal to 2 is not a Hilbert space. So, this follows by the following example. For 1 less or equals to p less than infinity, LP where p not is equal to 2 is not an inner product space and hence not a Hilbert space, because here parallelogram law does not hold. Let us take a solution. Let x is equal to 1 comma 1 comma 0 dot dot belongs to LP and y is equal to 1 comma minus 1 comma 0 dot dot belongs to LP. Then norm of x is equal to norm of y equal to 2 to the power 1 by p and norm of x plus y is equal to norm of x minus y equal to 2. Now, we see that if p not equal to 2, the parallelogram law does not hold. Hence, 1 less or equals to p less than infinity, where P not equal to 2. So, it is not an inner product space and consequently, it is not a Hilbert space. Only for p equal to 2, it is a Hilbert space, because here parallelogram law holds. The space CAB of all real valued continuous functions in the closed interval a comma b is not an inner product space with respect to the sup norm and hence not a Hilbert space. Also, we shall see that here parallelogram law does not hold. In an inner product space, parallelogram law holds, but CAB is a nonlinear space. Also we know that CAB is a Banach space with respect to the sup norm. Already we have introduced with a famous theorem that a Banach space is a Hilbert space if and only parallelogram law does not hold, but the parallelogram law does not hold here. So, in this case we take the solution by the following way. Here the norm defined by norm of x is equal to supremum of modulus of xt and supremum is taken over the closed interval a comma b, because CAB is equipped with the sup norm. Take xt equal to 1, there is constant function for all t belongs to AB. So, x is a continuous function. So, x belongs to CAB and yt equal to t minus a divided by b minus a for all t belongs to closed interval a b. Also, y is a continuous function over the closed interval a comma b. So, y belongs to CAB. Now, norm of x equal to 1 with respect to the defined norm, that is the sup norm. Here xt is equal to 1 constant function which is equal to 1. So, sup is always 1. So, norm of x equal to 1. Also, norm of y equal to 1. If we take norm of y equal to supremum of modulus of t minus a by b minus a and supremum is taken over the closed interval a comma b, and it is easy to see that norm of y equal to 1. Also, we can see that norm of x plus y equal to 2 and norm of x minus y equal to 1. By simple calculation, we see that the parallelogram law does not hold in it. Hence, CAB is not a Hilbert space. The space capital L2 AB, the space of all square integrable functions over AB is a Hilbert space. Define the inner product on L2 AB by inner product x comma y is equal to integration a to b modulus of x t into y t bar dt for all x comma y belongs to L to a b, and the norm on L to a b is given by norm of x is equal to root over integration a to b modulus of x t whole square into dt. Also with respect to this norm, it can be shown that L to a b is complete with respect to a metric defined by dxy is equal to integration a to b modulus of x t minus y t whole square dt to the power half. So, L to a b is a Hilbert space. In this module 1 of chapter 9, we have learned some basic preliminaries on inner product space. Also, we have learned a famous theorem, that is a Banach space is a Hilbert space if and only parallelogram law holds in it. Also, we have cited some examples which are inner product spaces and which are not. With this, we now come to an end of module 1 of chapter 9.